Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show, podcast, show, whatever, same thing, which we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. Pretty much, it's a nice day outside for the weekend. Pretty good as it could be. It's not raining. Well, let me phrase this: not raining now. So that's pretty cool. We gotten so much rain here. It really made me wonder about some things. But one of the biggest things that I find hilarious is at one point in time I was looking at the what was it the Weather Channel or something, and they were telling us the forecast. Uh, and I was looking at Kansas, and half of Kansas is cold, like 30 something degrees, and the other half is like 70. And there's like this direct dividing line, literally, if you're on one side or the other. It depends if you're hot or cold. So I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, you might be saying, Dark Logos, what are we talking about today? Are we going to get super philosophicals again? No. What this show is a shout out to a YouTube listener. Okay. And pretty much, this guy pretty much emailed me and said, "Hey, Dark Logos, man, can you do a podcast on Iron Man 3 movie set?" So I was like, you know what? I've somewhat been neglecting some things. So I was thinking to myself, well, yeah, consider I'm going to try to go see the movie sometime soon. So big up to Austin Auth, Auth, and this show is for you, man. This show is for you. Uh, if anybody remembers those Budweiser commercials, like "This Bud is for you," oh gosh, that's just bad. Anyway, what I'm going to do is, for convenience of myself and you, the listener, pretty much I'm not going to say Iron Man Mark, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to say Mark. Since the set is small, I'm just going to pick out some things that I find interesting, and things that I don't. So normally, we just like, hey, here's the characters I like, pick these up. Uh, I'll go through all of them since that's usually about a normal show's length. Uh, but mind you, I'm not going to, repeat some things twice because I think some of those figures. Oh, never mind. I was mistaken. I was thinking that they marked that little mini game on there with a different set of numbers, but it's pretty much the same figures. All right, let's start off with Mark 7. Um, in my opinion, Mark 7 is okay. You can get better Avengers Psychic Blast. You can't use your move and attack ability with Psychic Blast, so that sort of sucks. So pretty much what you do is like, oh, this is a guy I'm going to hit, perplex down their defense, then outwit something. So now you're only like -1 to that target. So that's not a bad trade-off. Now, at 150, again, not the best. 4 damage, okay. Now, where I find this is to be ridiculously broken is 75 points for 4 clicks, including one of those clicks being impervious. And yes, someone could say, like, I could just Psychic Blast or exploit weakness or outwit it. Yeah, you could. But how are you? Like really, are you really going to waste your time starting off on a 75-point figure to outwit his defense and kill it? Most likely not. You're going to be going after my big gun. And my big gun is going to be like, thank you for wasting your time on the fodder. I'm going to go do important hero stuff now. But for 75 points, this is really awesome. You get the trait, which he gets to upgrade his attack by 1 in speed. And then also, he could still use that move and attack ability, which, mind you, on his last click, it's pretty good. 11 attack, 4 damage. This by far is one of the more, I would say, broken things that they released. Because I know that they thought it through, but I really wondered, like, what were y'all thinking when y'all made that? Anyway, let's go on to Mark 42. Mark 42 is okay. It's got running shot, 12 attack, 5 damage, invulnerability, sharpshooter, and you're like, how is this okay? Well, we're talking 220 points, 8 clicks deep. Usually for something around 220 points. If this was like 9 or 10 clicks deep, I would be like, this is awesome. You're getting what you're paying for. But I see what the designers were mainly looking at is the fact that you have all that damage reduction. And since you have all that damage reduction, it actually artificially extends the life of a character's dial. So you could say that those 8 clicks could be equivalent to 9 or 10, looking at standard damage dealing, which is pretty much the logic. Anyway, the trait, top of the line, American model, opposing characters with the armor or robot keyword modify their attack values by -1 when attacking Ironman Mark 42. Now, where it gets really fun is that you combine it with Tony Stark from Avengers movie, and you have a awesome team of just pissing your friends off. That's pretty much my looking at it. Because you artificially for those armor and robot keywords, you artificially make it so that Iron Man Mark 42 has a 20D. So actually 21 because Tony Stark has perplex if you wanted to. So that's something to think about. Jarvis identified hostiles when Mark 42 makes ranged combat attacks and misses by 1. After action is resolved, he may make a ranged combat attack as a free action. This ranged combat attack can't be against an opposing character Iron Man Mark 42 has targeted this turn, and his attack value is modified by -2 for the attack. So it's like a mini built-in prob insurance, which is pretty good. He has it twice in the dial at the beginning, at the end. Of course, at the end, it's not guaranteed, but still, it's pretty cool. Then self-repairing armor, invulnerability, and regeneration is awesome. I don't really need to comment on that. Now, why is he 220? And I just looked at, there's this earthbound clicks on clicks 5 and 6 when he's regenning. So I know how, I joke around and be like, don't be afraid to push to regenerate. But actually be afraid to push because you don't have willpower or a sharpshooter and you're not a flyer. You can be carried though, so that's pretty cool. All right, moving on. Iron Patriot, my man. I played him this last weekend. Well, I played him on Friday. That's a better way of saying it. I played him on Friday. And buddy, this dude put in work. Just give him some enhancement. He's like, hey man, I see you over there. You wanna come mess with America? You stepped in front of the wrong guy. Running shot, psychic blast. Just eat that to the face. Oh man. He's awesome. He's on my Black History Month team next year, or whenever I decide to do one again. Pretty much 12 movement, psychic blast, 11 attack, 17 defense. Now, where I sort of was like, oh really? You just had to crap on my day. Is that he has combat reflexes. Now, if he had combat reflexes his combat reflexes and invulnerability with the special power. Now, what I sort of wish is that they gave him either energy shield or really I wish they gave him energy shield or at least something that would give him like +1 defense to all incoming attacks or something like that. That would make me feel a little bit better. But the combat reflexes, I guess they're sort of saying, hey man, we're moving into a new era of a whole lot of melee, so here's some combat reflexes. So in certain games, I could see him being awesome with that combat reflexes, but other than that, I'm a little sad. A brief story, and I know these are the things I'm like, this does not determine that a figure is awesome. And it is true. But this was awesome for me. So that's all that matters. Okay. So pretty much I was was playing. I had Magneto on my team and some fodder. So the guy had Magog, Nightmare. He had Magneto, and I'm talking about GSX Magneto. Um, yeah, and I keep feeling like I'm missing something. Well, oh, Astral Doctor Strange. So anyway, what ended up happening was uh, my opponent just straight up killed my Magneto off the bat, even though because I moved him in bad positioning and Rhodey wasn't there to back him up, so that was my fault. So I had to try to rally that game with an Iron Patriot and a ton of support figures. And by the grace of God, I get to the final. I kill everything but who was it? Nightmare. So I get on click 6, and I roll. No, yeah, I get on click 6. I roll 3 shape change rolls in a row, and then something happens. Like I'm like flurrying him, trying to kill Nightmare, and he's hitting super senses, and oh man, it was an epic game. And I roll for flurry, and this was my second attack. I hit the first one, the second one I crit miss, so I put me on regen. Then he tried to hit me again. I roll. Oh yeah, he tried to hit me again, and he hit. I failed my shape change. No, the next one I succeeded, but right when before it was going to be my turn, I failed my shape change. So yeah, just my little Iron Patriot moment. But overall, he does a lot, and I sort of wish that his upfront defense was on clicks 4, 5, and 6, because that's when he starts to become a melee character. Also, be mindful he does get Earthbound. That last click is an Earthbound click, so you can push to kill yourself for regen. All right, Mandarin. Just save yourself some time. Just don't play him. I really, yeah, just don't play him. You could say if you want to just have a reenactment of the movie, go play him. But other than that, really don't play him. Now I know some people would say Message of Terror, which would allow him, outwit or perplex anywhere on the map, is good, but not 120 points good. Okay, but you have to have an extremist explosion happen, and that's an expensive trade-off. Movie accurate, maybe. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to try to see it today, but that's a really, really, really bad trade-off. Okay, moving on. Extremist Soldier, good filler, 30 points, better than the cops. In all honesty, the only reason you have the cops is to put them in cop car. These are pretty good. So they ignore hindering terrain for movement, and they get combat reflexes for a trait. So play those. Get a couple of those. Next up, Tony Stark. This is awesome. Now, this Tony Stark promotes. And so you got to understand that's part of what you're paying for. But the other end of that is that his first 2 clicks are just upfront awesome. 6 range, Avengers Initiative, Energy Shield Deflection. Not Energy Shield, Energy Explosion. So when the future comes, he's going to be on the cutting edge of technology. All right. Definitely of heroclix tech. Then you have Outwit Enhancement. And Outwit and Enhancement together makes him like his good old dad, Howard Stark from Avengers Movie, except this one can kick butt and take names. Okay? Eventually get an enhancement itself, then Outwit itself, then he dies. But having the chance to promote into Mark 7 Iron Man at 75 points, that's some good stuff. That's some really, really good stuff. Definitely it's a good deal if you're mainly looking at getting offense on the board. That's about it. All right, moving on to Pepper Potts, and I know I've had people talk to me about mixed feelings on her. She's pretty much Lex Luthor from Superman 2.0. We're paying a bit less. The super duper clicks are okay, and we're looking at a character that really makes the support element on the field interesting, because if you try to attack Pepper Potts, it's pretty much on. And then she's going to turn into this range monster. Um, so that's pretty cool. The other thing that I think that is pretty cool is just the fact that she can get Psychic Blast, then she can go into this charged mode, and that allows for various opportunities to occur. So I think that we're going to see her as a mastermind fodder piece, maybe, depending on the situation, and then she's just going to go into, hey man, do you remember who my boyfriend is, or husband, fiance, whatever. Moving on, Aldrich Killian, the most brokest dude in the set. Kid you not, brokest dude in the set. Like I have 3. That should tell you something. And you're like, Dark Logos, you have 3, and you would pick this medic over Donald Blake, and this you'd pick this medic over a hired henchman, and this medic over blah blah blah, all these other guys. Yes, for right now in the meta and the storm to come, I will pick Aldrich Killian. Now here is why. Yes, he cannot AE into a super broke Thor, but how often do you AE into that Thor? No, you keep that Donald Blake on that field as long as possible. Okay? When we talk about Dr. Hurt or even Dr. Thomas Wayne, they stay on the field and they give you cool effects. Okay, but they don't game change like this cat does. Okay. I'm going to give you some current tech and then future tech implications. Current tech. Just being able to shut down ATAs within 8 squares doesn't require a line of fire is awesome. Okay, just pure and simple awesome. The next thing is, yes, you have that, hey, guess what? I can power up those extremist explosions. You really want that if you're going to do the whole I'm the villain from the Iron Man 3 movie game. And then put a bunch of brutes and stuff and run them around. That's fine too. This power here, extremist treatment. Aldrich Killian can use support. When he does, a character healed through the use of support modify its attack and damage values by +1 until your next turn. Hello, Iron Patriot. You have an 11 attack and 4 damage. You took some damage. Okay, so you're not on that 11 attack 4 damage click. Let me heal you. Oh, you're back to that 11 attack 4 damage click? I am wrong, sir. You're a 12 attack 5 damage with running shot Psychic Blast. And we also have enhancement on the team. Yay! His support is technically 2 perplexes to the guy that you're healing. So what you do is most characters, you usually try to heal them as soon as you get to them. But if you know if that character is going to be safe, and you have like 2 medics, heal with the other medic first and heal with Aldrich Killian, and then boom, have that character run back out to battle. Because it's so ridiculous what he can do. Just that healing. I got 3. And Hydra. So he can be up there in the face of it all. Oh, and Barrier. And see, okay. New school tech kids. With Barrier, even though he has 0 range in the future, he'll have 4 range Barrier up front. Now, why is this a big deal? All right, look at his point cost. How much are you normally paying in that range for Barrier and some area level of support in Hydra? I'll give you a moment. Do 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 do. Yeah, that's an AIM renegade, sir and madams. So yeah, that's what's up. This cat is the bee's knees and shall most likely make it to Gen Con. I'm almost willing to guarantee that you're going to see an Aldrich Killian. All right, next up, we're looking at Mark 17. Unibeam for all those for all those Marvel vs. Capcom fans over the years. This is broken. I mean, it only could be better if it would allow you to somehow juggle somebody or bring them towards you, or if he had the freaking globe above his head and it was like Unibeam. Again, Marvel vs. Capcom reference. Overall, I'm gonna say this. This by far is one of the best Iron Mans in the set. And then everyone's like, Dark Logos, you own that stuff again. You own that stuff. We need to get you to rehab. But here's why. At 166 points, he's very lean. And I want you to know some very, very key things. First off, his attack doesn't drop below a 9. His movement doesn't drop below an 8. His defense doesn't drop below a 16. His damage drops at lowest as a 3. Now ask yourself, when's the last time that you saw a figure under 200 points that the lowest damage drop was 3, but it reached, that 4 range in damage? You haven't seen that in a while. Not only that, 2 upfront clicks of impervious plus invulnerability click, 4 total clicks of movement attack, and yes, Unibeam being able to hit ridiculous amounts of people because it's based on its range and not a flat set. It's based on its range and not like a flat, just straight range. Square distance. So now what we're looking at is a very interesting reality because now we have a character that can snipe behind other characters. And you're like, hold on, wait. Yeah, he can snipe behind other characters. And I'll read Unibeam just for convenience. Give Iron Man Mark 17 a ranged combat action, targeting all characters in range and line of fire along a straight path, horizontal or vertical path, ignoring characters for line of fire purposes. Make a single range combat attack and compare the result to all figures along the chosen path. Beginning with the closest character, deal damage to Iron Man Mark 17's damage value minus the number of characters previously hit. Okay? So here's the thing. You can say like, oh man, I really need to hit X character. But I'm going to be in a very exposed situation if I like running shot and get direct line of fire on that. Freaking Unibeam. Like get TK to line up, that character with another character in that row, and this Unibeam just so they can't shoot you back. It sounds stupid, but this power, if used properly, can be a game changer for positioning because half the folks aren't going to remember, like, oh yeah, I need to watch out for a Unibeam. What Iron Man is that? It's the one with the freaking bolt of energy coming out of his chest. Yeah, I'll forget about that. And then just other thing is that you can use enhancement with it. So imagine a very, very big, and I do mean big, game, or a game with a lot of various people, like a big multiplayer game, and you have Iron Man, you have enhancement, you have perplex for your range and for your attack, but you're mostly using it for range, and you're just like, well, I'm lined up with about 3 guys. Unibeam! Boom. Now, where I have questions is, first question. If I use Unibeam and I have one of my friendly characters in front of me, would they take damage or would they be my first target? Or would I not being able not be able to do it. But it does say ignoring characters for line of fire purposes. So I can't really attack my own characters. There's nothing in there that says straight up. But at the same time, there's nothing in there that says opposing characters either. So that's where I have questions. But anyway, oh well. Moving on, Mark 15. Mark 15 is interesting because this is the tech that I feel is going to be on the, man, I hate seeing that list. What's our biggest problem with the Infinity Gauntlet, people? It's the fact that we're getting rushed down by like every, little team, and that we can't last 6 turns without being really almost crippled or dead trying to power up our Infinity Gauntlet. Well, no more. Enter the stealth suit. Mark 15. Stealth armor. Any character that's not within 4 squares can't draw a line of fire to Ironman Mark 15. When he has 1 or more action tokens, Ironman Mark 15 can use combat reflexes. So we're just spinning that gauntlet, spinning it, and guess what? If we play it out for 2 or 3 turns, our opponent can't target us. So that becomes very interesting. Now, how he interacts with Thanos, I really want to know. I really do want to know. But that would be interesting as well if he could stop Thanos. Because you do have to target with Thanos. And then if he was one of the 2 highest characters on your team, then you couldn't get yanked by Thanos. So that's an interesting trade-off. Definitely for your Avengers team. That's some insurance. Now that's the upside. And I know I sort of wrote on the blog I like sensory deprivation globe, which I do. But here's the downside. You know how I talked about previously, like, hey, look, we got that 166 point Iron Man. We got 4 damage. The lowest we goes to 3. With this one, you're paying 221 points. You got to click a 2 damage on there. For most of the dial, you have 3 damage, which gives you some level of damage consistency. But the one time they give you 4 damage and exploit weakness is when you have regen, which is, I almost feel it's rude. Like that's just saying, hey player, we want you to make a tough choice. Either KO the guy in front of you or heal. You're not guaranteed to heal, and you know that. And you're not guaranteed to do damage either. So what you going to do, buddy? Having Avengers Initiative helps, but there's really not much on here. Just looking at it, that makes me say, yeah, I really like Avengers Initiative. And I think that's partially what's inflating his points. Add in the other element of you have a stealth suit that can't be targeted within 4 squares, and you give him lots of charge. Oh, come on, whiz kids. That's just like saying, I got delicious chocolate in front of you, but it's an X-Lax. So you really want some chocolate, but it will make you be on the pot for the next 5 hours. I mean, so it's frustrating. And some days you might need fiber. So I can't fully recommend him outside of, hey, let's just piss people off with the Infinity Gauntlet tech. Moving on to Brant. Good stuff here. Pretty much the big one is cover each other. If a friendly, oh gosh, Wiz. I don't know if it's Wiz Kids or HC Realms. If a friendly with the soldier keyword, it should be a friendly character with the soldier keyword within 4 squares occupies or is adjacent to a square of hindering or blocking terrain. All friendly characters with the soldier keyword within 6 squares of Brant modify their defense values by +1. So that's pretty good. You get some stat buffs. Also, the Brant can use probability control, but can only affect rolls of friendly characters with the soldier keyword. When she does, and the attack misses all targets, deal the attacking character one unavoidable damage. Now, where this is nice is that if you are a multi-target soldier figure, Brant is your prop control, because if you know you can hit that low one, then you have insurance of not taking damage. If not, she is sort of raw with it, okay? But just being able to give yourself +1 defense to everybody that's within range of her is pretty awesome. Oh, sorry, within 6 squares. Sorry. All right. Next up is the monster, Extremist Brute. Extremist Brute, I'm just gonna say straight up. If you play the hey, guess what? We have bombs, do it at your own risk. I don't like it. Yes, you can, oh, I can guarantee that it goes off, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's troublesome, blah, blah, blah. Look, I get a couple of guys in there and they blaze cause fame, blah, ha, ha, ha. I understand. Trust me, I fully understand everything that's going through your mind, because I thought those things too. Where I find the problem with Extremist Brutes is that it's like, for that die with the explosion, it's like saying, here, I'm going to take a lit firecracker and throw it next to other lit firecrackers that's in a warehouse of lit firecrackers. Because unless you space out your Extremist Brutes, they can blow themselves up. They also can blow up your own team. So I'm really, 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 really not a fan of that. So yeah, that's the best way I could put it. Now, if they're also within certain range of an aim character, they get energy shield deflection, and it has to be a higher point friendly, which means you're looking at 61 points or higher, which is sort of okay. So that means that you're guaranteed 18 against everything, but you have no damage reduction. So once you get hit, it's pretty much GG. Now, something else. Now, I know some people would be like, well, it's a mixed bag, Dark Logos. You don't know which is better, really. Now, in my own personal preference, I would like the poison up front, but because of the second dial, I can understand why the poison is not up front. Anyway, the second dial of Extremist Brute is what you need to play, and that is Extremist Heat. And if you can find a way of doing this in a 300-point game of using one, I'm not going to push 2 because pushing 2 is too much. If you can definitely use 1, let me know, because I want to see what your thinking was. Pretty much Extremist Heat. Extremist Brute can use poison. Yay! Adjacent opposing characters that take no damage from the use of poison, put a heat token on their character card. Right there. A character with 1 or more heat tokens can't use toughness. Automatically, right there. A character with 2 or more heat tokens can't use invulnerability. Ooh. A character with 3 or more heat tokens can't use impervious. When an opposing character clears action tokens and is not adjacent to Extremist Brute, it may remove 1 heat token from its character card. Now, will this do anything against invincibility in the future? No, it won't. Because invincibility never stops damage unless the damage is 1. Okay, so keep that in mind. So you do 2 damage if you have 2 damage and you pop somebody with invincibility, they're going to take 1. Invincibility does have its cons. Okay, now let's sort of make sure we can clarify why this is new school tech good. First off, for me to have a character that is a melee character that gives poison, and if you don't take poison, there's a negative consequence automatically, is awesome. Not only that, if you use it, it's a ghetto outwit. Okay, you didn't take poison, your toughness is gone. You have a heat token. Oh, okay, you didn't take poison. Your invulnerability is gone. Oh, you cleared. One heat token off. Okay, boom. I'm going to put another heat token on you. The way it's set up, there is no way, as long as they stay adjacent to that extremist brute, for them to get rid of all of their tokens, unless they have a very far move in phasing, or they getting recalled back using the bat signal or something. Okay? So when you combine all those elements together, you get something very, very tight. Then you got to remember the fact that you also have flurry and super strength, which means that you won't be carried if you're carrying an object, but it's still some goodness right there. And then also, you have regen your last 2 clicks, which is great. Tony the Tiger endorses this. So definitely look at Extremist Brute Dial B with Extremist Heat. That is just broken. Now, everything I'm going to talk about is for those who don't live on the North American continent. My European friends that listen, you have a war machine, and I demand that you give him back. Give him back, please. Please. There's real tears flowing right now. Oh, gosh. Please give him back. I'll give you money. I'll give you money. I've been looking for a war machine for the longest, but I haven't found one for sale. And usually the American eBay will look overseas sometimes. They still didn't find one. Oh, anyway, Target exclusive stuff and Walmart and all those other big guys. Ironman Mark 35. Overall, with him having giant reach for 141 points, this dial is okay. It's a little bit, it's melee centric, sort of. It allows you to, just punch some people in the gut real good a couple of times. This is more of, hey man, let's have fun playing with Iron Man. Then let's get an Iron Man. Mark 40. I'm gonna get hate for this one. Yeah, I'm gonna probably get some real hate for this one. Okay, and here's why. I don't like him. I just don't like him. You're paying 165 points up front for 2 damage and some other things that I feel that would be good if you had more than 2 damage. You got 1 click of 11 attack. And for 1 more points, I can get for 1 more points or less points, I can get a way more awesome Iron Man from this set. Okay, so overall, I'm a little just ticked off. He has improved movement, ignore characters, so he can't be tied up with plasticity. Okay, so that's nice. Next, he's like, a need for speed. Opposing characters within 8 squares, given a power action to activate running shot or hypersonic, are dealt 1 unavoidable damage after the action resolves. So it's like, hey, Tony, you're flying around out there in the open. Oh, you activated. I see you there. I'm going to shoot you. Nope, you activated running shot, and you're within my range of 8 squares. Take that 1 unavoidable damage after actions resolved. So he has Ghetto Mystics, and even if they're not attacking Mark 40, if they're attacking any of your crew, I mean, that sort of helps. But at the same time, think about this. Who has full dial, running shot, or hypersonic speed? No one. No one does. So, if you're in a position where this has gone off a couple of times, if they're on charge or whatever else, it doesn't do you any good. And you might say, well, Dark Logos, they've taken all that attrition just for activating some of the best powers in the game. And I can sort of see that. But I can't hurt you back, really, hit you hard. So I'm depending on that going off, that hypersonic speed running shot issue, and then also me landing my Sonic Boom. And the Sonic Boom is give Mark 40 a move action, modify his speed value by +3. Iron Man, Mark 40, must move along a horizontal vertical path. That sucks. He can't until he can't move. That sucks. All other characters occupying squares on Ironman Mark 40, squares Ironman Mark 40 move through are dealt 1 damage and are given an action token. That sucks. Characters in squares adjacent to the path are given an action token. So here's why this sucks. I have to move my full movement, which is like 15. It has to be a straight line. Okay. Not only that, I do 1 damage, it's not penetrating, and I give an action token, which is not in cap. And now my Ironman Mark 40 is on the other side of the map. Now, yes, he can't be targeted by close combat attacks, but you can outwit that stuff. Anyway, don't like him. All right, 7. This is okay. And I really like it. 45 points, Hydra, really straightforward. Can use combat reflexes for a trait. Thing says get into cover is a special power. When a friendly character within 8 squares with the soldier keyword takes damage from an opposing character, that friendly character can use stealth until your next turn. So given all your guys with the soldier keyword, stealth is pretty cool. Now here's the problem. He doesn't have stealth. Sorry, he doesn't have soldier keyword. So you use them, you can't do a themed team with your soldier team. Next up is War Machine. Y'all make me cry. Distributors, you make me cry! So bad. So bad, distributors. I hate you right now. By far the best War Machine that we've seen in a long while. And oh gosh, 2 targets, 12 movement, 11 attack, 4 damage, special power off the bat, advanced targeting and smart ordnance. War Machine can use the dual attack ability. That shoulder cannon is not for show, son. It's for real. It's all up in your face. Okay? When he does, and the attack rolls is double, damage dealt is penetrating. Oh my gosh, man. So you have the chance. Again, I do say chance of being like, hey man, this is penetrating damage. You know, okay, now here's why it gets awesome. So awesome. His trait. Want to be the War Machine? At the beginning of your turn, choose one of the following that you did not choose last turn. Energy Explosion. Oh my gosh, he has 2 targets of Vengeance Initiative. Penetrating Psychic Blast. Oh man, I can use Psychic Blast. Or Range Combat Expert. War Machine can use that power until your next turn. Now, okay, you're like, well, Dark Logos, you can't use any of that stuff with duo attack. I don't care. I do not care. You know how many... and again, I do sort of poo-poo on options a lot of times. So you're going to be like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Do you understand the number of options that you have? Like literally almost anything out there on the board that's weak to something has one of those powers that are listed that you can go and just be like, oh, you're weak to that. Calibrating my shoulder cannon. Yeah. Oh. Why can't I get a War Machine? Dang it, eBay, I demand a War Machine. Next is trajectory tracking. War Machine can use probability control, but only for his own attack rolls during a ranged combat action. Don't care. Still awesome. Got it for 4 clicks. Now, you know he's a War Machine. And here's why. He only has 1 click of 2. The rest are 3 and 4 damage. He only has 3 clicks of 3 damage and 4 clicks of 4 damage. He's a War Machine. Yeah, I know he only has one click of imperv, but this isn't the Iron Man armor. This is War Machine. He kicks butt, take names, chew bubble gum, and drinks a Coke. That's what War Machine does. Darn Skippy. All right, Iron Man, Iron Patriot. Now, at first, I was like, I hate this sucker. I think he sucks. I think it was overcosted. Then I fought one, and I changed my mind very quickly after fighting one. At 400 points, a 19D shared between all your friends is ridiculously strong, very annoying, and on top of that, it puts you in a position as a player that the whole army is just there. And until you deal with Iron Man, Iron Patriot, you are not getting rid of that high defense. And that sucks. And that's what makes him awesome. Yes, I know the hypersonic speed rules have changed, are going to change, but the fact that you get 4 targets out of this, I think that's quite interesting. Now, because the developers knew that it was broken good and what was coming, they only gave them one, and do count it, 1 click of energy explosion normally. But we have the Affinity Gauntlet, people. We can name a power. Yes! All right. Anyway, moving on. And you're going to be like, you're not going to look at the traits? No, you don't really need to know all that. You just need to know he has defend and energy shield deflection. And understand that once you see him on the field, that's one of the toughest fights that you are about to have in heroclix. For right now. Unless you have Avengers, not Avengers Initiative, Outsiders. All right, let's look at the starter and how they screwed us out of our money if you bought it. Now, I'm going to say this. There are some people I do know, some very, very prominent people that I do know, that say, the starter's a good buy. If you are a new player and you need clicks, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think that this is a good investment. What I do think is, if you want some nice looking Iron Man pieces and you didn't get the sculpts that are inside of the gravity feed set, then go ahead. But overall, I think that this is not that good. First off, we have the Mark 42 Iron Man from the starter. Okay. It's running shot, 11 attack, 4 damage, 300 points. Then he moves to, let's see, repulsor powered assault engine engaged. Iron Man Mark 42 can use running shot. When he does, his speed values is not half running shot. From running shot, and he possesses 1 target instead. Possesses 1 target for the action. No. I'm paying for 2 targets, and I know you're sort of reducing my cost or shifting my cost so that I can go full movement, but it's an 8 movement. That's really, it's nice and all, but that's a one-way trip, and it's not Avengers Ride with me, because if it was, then I would be sharing defense with somebody awesome and not rocking a 17. Bleeding Edge armor defense systems when targeted by ranged combat attack. Iron Man Mark 42 can use super senses when Iron Man Mark 42 is successfully hit by attack, reduce damage dealt by 3. Still, you're getting hit. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. And you can be out with it. The lower point value of Iron Man Mark 42 is 150 points for starting a 9 attack. And that is not awesome. Okay. So that in and of itself is a big deal breaker for me. Who knows in the future if you're playing like Bizarro World where the dials are backward? Yeah, go ahead. Do that stuff. But no, not an upfront purchase. Iron Patriot. Now look at the other Iron Patriot. Now look at this. Now look back at the other Iron Patriot. Now look at this. This is not the thing you love. Okay? You're like, hold up, wait, Dark Logos, we have running shot, psychic blast, 17 defense, invulnerability, shield, and close combat expert. That's pretty good. No. Look what we're doing. We have close combat expert and psychic blast. That's bad. Be like, Dark Logos, the options. No, it's freaking Iron Patriot. He shoots and blasts fools. He don't punch fools. He blasts fools. Do you not read a comic book, Wiz kids? Comic accuracy. Wow. You can tell when it gets personal for me. Who are your fan favorites, Dark Logos, and where is your bias? Okay. But, again, you're like, well, hey, you could do 5 damage if they base them. Like, yes, I understand that. But I still, if Iron Patriot gets based real easily, you did something wrong. In the new meta, you did something wrong because you could kite people for a good while. Okay, and I did say kite, K-I-T-E. Okay, I know some people are like, "Hey, did you say what I think you said?" No, because allergies. I don't know what it is. I guess like the pollen count went up because of the rain. And it's like, it's not raining, man. So shoot, fill the air full of spores. So me and Claritin will have a nice rendezvous after I finish recording this. He gets energy explosion with 2 targets, which I'm like, yay, new meta goodness. He gets some range combat expert. Overall, I think it's okay. He can use defend, but only to replace defense values with adjacent friendly characters with celebrity, politician, or ruler keyword. If I had a bodyguard choice, I would pick the 200-point Iron Patriot from the gravity feat because he does it better. Anyway, Stark auto repair systems, Iron Patriot can use regeneration and toughness. And he has it twice in the dial, so you do have a chance of regenerating back to full. So that is an advantage, but I still don't like it. I still don't like it. But if you get lucky and you roll that regen twice, then there you go. Next up is Killian. So take all that good stuff that made the 35-point Killian good and just throw that out the window. Hiding in plain sight, Killian can use stealth. Characters can use the sharpshooter ability. Friendly characters can use sharpshooter ability and ignore hindering terrain for line of fire purposes. So he gives your whole team sharpshooter and Avengers initiative, which is sort of cool. It's sort of cool. So functionally, this can end up in quite an interesting. It can lead into some very, very interesting teams. Definitely when it comes to AIM or Hydra teams, because all of a sudden you can have some characters that are those big hitters have sharpshooter, and also they technically get like Avengers initiative. So this part of it is really pretty cool. Next up is Your Tech is the Past, Extremist is the Future. Killian can use Incapacitate with a range value of 4, but only target characters with armor keyword. Now that's dumb. Damage dealt to opposing characters with armor keyword by friendly... Damage dealt to opposing characters with armor keyword by friendly characters can't be reduced below 1. So it pretty much says, hey, I hit with this Incapacitate. You can't reduce... my damage below 1, which is it's dumb because he has a 9 attack, and most of the characters you're targeting from the movie set, pretty much they have very, very good defenses on average, and you're going to need an 8 to hit most of them, and that's where I'm like, this is not good. The other major thing that I can look at is, but you only can target characters with the armor keyword. If that doesn't show up, like it won't in the, next 3 to 4 months down the line, it does you absolutely no good. Now you can't say like, well, Dark Logos, we're going to have Fear Itself Iron Man. He's going to be boss because he's bathed in Thor hammer metal. Like we don't know that. He might be awesome, but hey, how many times in heroclix Has the sculpt been awesome and the dials suck? Probably more times than I can count. All right, so let's go on. Brilliant extremist architect. Killian can use leadership in Perplex. Killian can use enhancement, but only modify the damage value of a lower point character with whom he shares a keyword. So that's more suck, because now it has to be an AIM team, a celebrity team, or a scientist team. And he only does it on the puny guys. Okay, this is the reverse of David Kane awesome. This is pure crap awesome, which is not awesome at all when I think about it. I need more morning juice so I can wake up. I make my own juice, and I blend fresh fruits and vegetables with my blender. I mean, not my blender, my juicer. And I drink that in the morning when I have time to make it on the weekend. So, yeah, I need some more juice. It's good for you because you get like, probably about 6 or 7 vegetables worth of nutrients in 1 cup. So, like, and your brain wakes up, which really helps for doing the show. So, that's the Dark Logos help tip of the show. All right, moving on. You can sort of see why I'm pissed off about this starter. It's like here's a little goodness. Here's some little goodness. Oh, poor crap, pure crap for the rest of that dial. Sorry, buddy. We just made you waste your money on this one. All right, next up is Mandarin. He starts off with stealth. He got some quake, which it's like, oh, I throw a bomb off. Ha ha ha. Dumb. That's so dumb. Okay. Combat reflexes. And again, it's like, I just quaked you and knocked you back, but now I have combat reflex. Anyway. His first special power is Mandarin can use Perplex and Shape Change, which is sort of nice, because that means he can survive. And at 100 points, he's a very big investment. Going on, capable figurehead. When Mandarin is the highest point figure on your force with the AIM keyword, he can use leadership and mind control. Now, think about this. If he's the highest figure on your force is capped at 100 points. So, I mean, the figures that, this affects, so you can get this trait, all your figures are under 100 points. So, what this also means is that you have a team full of weenies. And in all honesty, most of the AIM weenies cannot go toe-to-toe with a 300-point team. So, you're looking at a fun 200-point team, maybe. Just maybe. Maybe 250. 250, guaranteed pure fun. Guaranteed pure fun. I put the Dark Logo seal of approval. Play a 250-point game, get a bunch of cheap AIM guys, and go at it. Just go at it. Now, you can also say, you can play a martial artist team and just sort of move from there. But again, he just has to be the highest point AIM agent, AIM person on your team, which means you could use him on soldier, a ruler, a keyword, all that. But still, it's like you're going to say, hey man, you're a leader of an evil terrorist organization and you're really great, but we don't really respect you because you are a what? I guess a capable figurehead, but really not that good. So us guys that are really super powerful are not going to take orders from you, Mandarin, because screw it, dude. You don't have the freaking rings of the Mandarin. You were they didn't give him the real rings, which is sort of obvious from this dial. But anyway, and if they did in the movie, I'm going to be so ticked off because these dials do not reflect that. Okay, so next, Fraternity of Terror. That sounds like a good comic book issue. Fraternity of Terror. Mandarin can use combat reflexes. When he's adjacent to a friendly figure with the AIM keyword, Mandarin can use Mastermind. Okay. So overall, I mean, it's not that good. 5 range, Hydra TA. Really just not that good. Extremist Mercenary. I hate to say it. This is pretty good. He gets to ignore hindering terrain. He's a soldier, so we pop him with 7. We're in some good territory. Trait, just another day. Combat reflexes. There you go. Popping smoke. This, this is a cool special power. Popping smoke. When Extremist Mercenary has 1 action token, he can use Smoke Cloud as a free action until your next turn. Why is this good? Well, in the future, when Smoke Cloud debuffs your opponent, you're going to be liking Smoke Cloud. Extremist Explosion. When this click is revealed, stop turning the dial. Blah, blah, blah explosions. Blah, blah, blah. Now, I will give WizKids credit. They made it so that you technically, if you land on it due to like pushing or mystics, you can heal. But then also they gave it so he has regen before he explodes. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. All right, moving on. Mark 7. Again, it's like, why? Why am I paying for this? And why do you're giving me Psychic Blast to polish a turd? Like, ooh, look at this dial. There's a lot of mediocre numbers. But baby, we gave you Psychic Blast. Stupid. It's stupid. And it's like, oh, here's leadership up front. It's like, no. Now here's where it's frustrating. Really, really frustrating. He has Stark Industries keyword. And he has leadership. Okay? If you're actually going to say, it's like, wouldn't it be a good idea if I had leadership and Avengers Initiative? Because then, with the Avengers keyword that I should have, then I would actually be able to help a team. Instead of being on a crappy celebrity team or armor team. There are better armor and celebrity figures. Oh, gosh, this is bad. It's so bad. Okay, so anyway, he has a trait, still a bit of a maverick. He's a wild card, but he can't use carry ability. So technically you have a flyer here. That's not that good. It's not that good of an attacker, and also can't taxi. That's bad. That's so bad. Okay. Multi-vector defense screens. Iron Man Mark 7 can use energy shield deflection and invulnerability. Well, great. If I could take that and then just take that awesome bit of that power and then go up to Iron Patriot from the Gravity Feed and magically swap those texts, I would do that in a heartbeat. I would punch Seth in the gut and then apologize promptly if I was able to do that. I'd be like, sorry, man, this is for War Machine. Boom! And you're like, he's Iron Patriot. No, he's always War Machine. Freaking James Rhodes, baby. He's War Machine. Anyway, it's sort of crappy. In all honesty, just do not buy this set. Maybe they'll learn the lesson that they can't, say, hey, here's an awesome property and put crap inside. It's if M&Ms had poo on the inside, would people buy them and eat them? No, they wouldn't. You can have all the nice candy colored shell that you want, but if it's poo inside, that's not candy. Okay? That's definitely not chocolate. All right, last but not least is the marquee figure, which many of us had to pay for. Some of us got for free Comic Book Day, which is Avengers Initiative. He has Avengers Initiative, which is like, yes. He has Running Shot Psychic Blast. Yeah. He has Imperv. Yes. He has Perplex. Yes. He has Avengers Scientist and Armor keyword. Yes. On his second click, Range Combat Expert with 3 damage or Psychic Blast. Yes. Click 3, Hypersonic Speed, 11 attack, and 3 damage. Yes. I mean, like, this Iron Man should have been in the starter. Because then, in all honesty, you wouldn't have that means to really just be mad when you realize you got hustled. Okay? So, in Dial Energy Explosion with Perplex and range combat expert. I mean, overall, this is a very, very fun, good piece for your newer players coming in and stuff. What an Iron Man, this is awesome. Free comic book day Iron Man. Here you go, kid. You can compete. Thank you very much. You could tell my frustration. Just feel it. If I could just channel it to you for a moment. So overall on this set, I would say touch the gravity feed, but touch not the starter in the mini game, for it has leprosy, and there's no amount of miracle working that can make that stuff good. Yes, the sharpshooter stuff might come in handy one day, but I'm sorry, like there is no reason for me to ever use anything in that starter, except for, yeah, I'll take that back. Maybe the Extremist Mercenary. That's about it. That's it. So I know there's some places that are charging $22 for a starter. Yeah, don't pay that. Do not pay that. Go and get a fast forces of other stuff. And here's what I'm going to tell you. And this tells you the level of how much I'm pissed off at the starter in the minigame. I would rather have you, as a listener, spend your money on the X-Men Fast Forces. And for those who know, I had no love for the X-Men Fast Forces. I'd rather have you buy that than to buy this Iron Man starter. Oh, all right. Anyway, that ends my nerd rage. And for those of you that read the blog, you're like, man, you denied us like a weekend and a Wednesday. Like, what's up, Dark Logos? That's not fair. Yep, I got caught up playing League of Legends, and then also I was working on the show that went out previously about how tech lives, how tech fades, how tech dies. So I was really pondering that, and then I got this email, and I was like, you know what? Y'all deserve a bonus show because I was slacking on the blog. I was slacking. So here's what's going to happen, people. This show is going up this week, but you will also get another show. Now you're going to be like, Dark Logos, don't be promising stuff that you can't guarantee. So here's how I'm going to do it. All right. I am going to pretty much here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this show up. You're going to get another show either this weekend or that following Monday. Okay, so anyway it goes, you're still coming out like with a bonus show. All right, because I have to go back to Topeka for this week on the 8th. So, yeah. And I might leave on that Friday. I might not. But I do have to go back to Topeka. So I will definitely be back to Kansas City. And if I have to go back to Topeka the following week, then yeah. But pretty much I'm back to work for a brief time. And then I'm looking for a job. So, yeah. So that's not fun. Have a little bit of money saved up, but not go buck wild crazy. All right. Anyway, so if you have any show ideas or just want to get in contact with me, hit me up at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it pithy or keep it long. I don't care. Keep it interesting. I might do a contest, which is Dark Logos Make My Team. But I haven't thought about how I would do that. Anyway, also, if you want to subscribe, go ahead. But subscribing really isn't that beneficial. Like, if you scroll all the way down, you might see me if I have a new show. But definitely hit me up on Twitter. Subscribe to me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, son, at StartOverPod. That's at StartOverPod. And you can know when I put a new show up. Just see that nice little link, and it'll come straight from YouTube. So definitely do that. And then last but not least, when I'm not goofing off, and not going to go see Iron Man 3. Yeah, buddy, yeah. I'm writing a blog. So the blog is startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. And normally I update it. Unless I'm on vacation and I end up doing stupid stuff. So that's it. Uh, Again, this show is all coming about because someone said, "Hey, Dark Logos, can you do a show on?" So you got any show ideas, hit me up. All right. That's it. Thank you for listening. And remember, we all got to start over sometime. Okay. You might ask, like, what the heck just happened? The show should be over. Well, yeah. Pretty much I record the show, and I went to go see the Iron Man movie. So this is like hella big spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, sorry, it's the end of the show. You sort of sucks. If you want to hear spoiler stuff, then keep listening. So anyway, I saw the movie, and I sort of see why the armors sort of are the way they are. Definitely at the end fight. And it's quite interesting that you pretty much see, I wouldn't say in details, but in flashes, most of the armors used. The main armor that Iron Man uses is the Mark 42, which you find that out in the movie when they actually like look at it. The thing that is sort of a little bit like not comic accurate is that it doesn't really show how it breaks apart, then comes back onto Tony. But the Tony Stark the Tony Stark dial is pretty correct to the part of the movie in which that occurs, in which he's breaking away from Killian. So that I thought was really, really, really interesting. But another thing that when we look at some of these styles, like the Mark 7, there is nothing really I felt that displays like bringing the party to you or even the aerial assault. Um, I think there's a one point in the last fight where you just sort of see something that looks like it, like zip by and then take some shots. Pepper Potts getting extremists. That is interesting, but really, the psychic blast should be like maybe on click 2 or 3. But I know functionally and playability wise how that would turn out. But yeah, I'm not complaining on that. But actually seeing the movie, I would actually say like, yeah, psychic blast should be on click, maybe 2 or 3 of her, after her extremists taking hold. So that's pretty interesting. Also, how is this going to work out? Like, I figure there's probably no more Iron Man movies coming. But if there are, if they go into that, Marvel movie 2.0 era, I think it would be interesting how the relationship between Pepper Potts with Extremis and Tony Stark turned out. I know they sort of say fixed her, but still, she had Extremis. That'd be awesome. Hell, if I had Extremis, I would do a bunch of different things. But anyway, going on, like they talk about the stealth suit Iron Man, the Mark 15. You only see it once, but you don't ever see it display it being stealthy, let alone how does it play in the movie. I think the Mark 17 is just for fans of Marvel vs. Capcom. After watching the movie, there was like nothing in there that I can really say is like this is Unibeam. Now, with that being said, there is a moment in the movie in which Tony blasts freaking one dude in the chest, through the chest with the so that part is sort of accurate, but how it worked out in the figure it's sort of different. I now here's the one thing that I do not get. Why doesn't Aldrich Killian on any of his dials have like an ability to turn into an extremist brute? That makes no sense. Like I don't get that. Um, yeah, I mean I really don't get that. The next thing that I really don't get, and this is from the movie, why the heck did they make the Mandarin a punk? And worse of that, he's like a British sort of guy. Like I don't get that. That I know he's an actor and debonair. Well, not debonair, but he's an actor. But whatever, dude. Like it's that whole thing is the Mandarin should be, of Asian descent. But we're in the age of Al Qaeda, so oh well. And it's tis a name. If Nick Fury can be black, the Mandarin can be some British dude with plastic surgery. Brant is nowhere close to what she was in the movie. You would actually have like the close combat expert or even some incapacitate. I would have used that. Killian is the only one that actually uses a ranged attack with extremists. And from the movie. And so it's like there's some things that just don't make sense when designing the dial. Now let's go and look at the extremist soldiers, and I think that they are nowhere close to what the movie is. And I know they sort of die like fodder at the end. But still, it's like it's not quite right. They shouldn't be using. They use guns, but they sure the hell don't ever use support. I know that for a fact. They don't go and heal each other. Now, you could say they have regen, but you don't ever see anybody bust out a med pack. Or it's like, hey, we got to get him to the healing bay. So that part I don't like. If you wanted to do it, you could have just given them Indomitable and then gave them a regen on the last 2 clicks. Or yeah, that would have been perfect. But oh well, that didn't happen. Let's see. Now, the extremist brutes in general, if that's supposed to be like, hey, look, this is them in that form. You only really see Killian like that. You don't ever see the rest of them like really in that meltdown, I'm about to jack you up state. And the extremist it's mainly Killian using it against the Iron Man armors. You don't really see the other extremist culprits doing that. Like they should have like shape change and stealth and stuff like that since they infiltrated all these groups. Then like surprise, surprise, son. We're super powered. Boom, and they pop out. That's what should be up with that. War Machine never appears in the freaking movie. I'm pissed. So where does the Iron Man War Machine duo come from? Like literally, I was like, come on, Rhodey, come on, you're gonna get that armor, get it, and it didn't happen. So yeah, he gets his Iron Patriot stuff back, but they don't really do anything as Iron Man and Iron Patriot. So part of me feels like this is a money grabs, big grabs in. The Mandarin of all the characters is, I hate to say it, from the movie construct, there's some things that are left hanging. Like, why in the first movie, why does the guy have one of the rings of the Mandarin? If the Mandarin from the beginning was a joke. What's the impact of that? If everybody behind the scenes knows that the master, which is the Mandarin, is a punk, is just an actor, then why have the ring? Okay? That doesn't make sense. Okay? That's the big part. It's like, why? Okay? Even more so, even with some hintings of the Mandarin from 2, they sort of made him look like a punk. Well, technically, he is a punk. Okay, there is really nothing in any of the Mandarin pieces that reflect the Mandarin himself as a character in the movie when you look at the actual dials. Now, if you look at puppeteer or puppet, that's the only thing that you might say out of all the Mandarin dials, like, aha, it's them trying to be witty. But it's really not. It's really sort of stupid. Um, but oh well. I mean, overall, I enjoyed Iron Man 3. I also saw the trailers for Thor and Wolverine. And I must say, this year, I mean, I tweeted it out, but this year the movie said, we're going to make ours Marvel. And Superman has to be really, 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 really good for people to wash the taste of Iron Man out of their mouth. And that taste is so fresh and so clean, and it brushed your teeth afterward. It's like Orbits almost, except it doesn't have that one stuff that makes my nose itch. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think some notable things that really didn't need to be done, but I see what they did just for having more characters' sake. Brant really was not a character. Brant showed up for like a 5-minute fight scene, and that was stupid. Like, she should not be a clique. Okay, Savin. He should be a clique. Now, I'm not going to argue on that, but he's too close to Brant, and he never does anything like Blaze Claw's fangs. He should have like a freaking automatic every time Brant does a melee attack, it's penetrating damage or something like that. That's what he should have. Or the ability to make a friendly character an extremist agent and make them blow up. Like that stuff would be awesome if Brant had that as a trait. But the just another day stuff, that's sort of BS. That's really sort of BS. I hate to say it. But I think like Happy Hogan, he should have been a clique, because he actually did something. That other chick that helped make Extremists, like she should have been a clique over Brant, really. Yeah, I would throw those two up as actual characters. And then definitely at the end, there should be, at the end, near the end of the movie, after, and again, more spoilers, after Tony Stark gets captured after he tries to do this cool invasion, and it doesn't make sense how he drove from Tennessee to Miami, but oh well. Anyway, I think that actually having that other lady in there that made Extremists, I think that she would have been the main one that should have been like a clique, like Shape Change, Perplex. What are you doing at my house? And it's like, and then she should have a trait of I made Extremists at the beginning of your turn. If she is off of click 1, roll a d6. On a 5 or 6, heal her 1. On a 3 through 4, nothing happens. On a 1 through 2, deal her 1 unavoidable damage, and she automatically uses Pulse Wave. Like that would have been something awesome. Like it would be called the plant is very delicate or something like that. That would have been baller. Okay, so that's my take of the movie in response to the clicks. I know I have never done this before. And I know that people are like, you just spoiled the movie so bad. Didn't spoil everything, but I did spoil a good chunk of the movie. So, if you never want me to do this again, I can't promise that. I can't promise that at all. But yeah, those are just, the relation of the movies to the clicks. All right. And remember, we all got to go to the movies sometime. Peace.
I'm into comic books, figures on the wall. She's into looking good, Vicky C's catalog. And she loves my flaws, yeah, she's not ashamed. I'm a Peter Parker, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. She's my Mary Jane, she's my Mary Jane. I'm her Peter Parker, she's my Mary Jane. I'm a big nerd around her, but she's cool around me. Never knew how she found me. Electric, but she grounds me. And she loves my flaws, she accepts them all. When the darkness comes, I will get the call. I will swing down to save her.